What's going on, guys? Welcome to the video. So we got something that is of slight concern here, but should also be taken with a pinch of salt because it involves polls. And we all know they are unreliable, most of the time. The Express are running an article, Brexit disaster. Jeremy Corbyn's Labour Party just 8 points behind Tories in new poll. Jeremy Corbyn's Labour Party is just 8 points behind the Conservative Party in a new poll, sparking concerns over the future of Brexit. I wouldn't really say it sparks concerns over the future of Brexit, it sparks concerns about it being delayed. I'm not sure they could actually stop Brexit now due to the outrage and uproar that it would cause swiftly afterwards. Just because Brexiteers have been fairly calm up until now, if Article 50 was revoked and we was told we were remaining in the EU, I can guarantee they won't be so fucking calm. The survey from Orb International revealed Boris Johnson's Conservatives were on 36% and Labour just behind at 28%. Experts warn Mr Johnson will need to significantly increase his lead to be sure of securing a majority. Labour have vowed to hold another Brexit referendum if they form a government, though it's unclear whether they would campaign for Remain. In the 2 weeks before the Sunday Telegraph poll, 4 more were conducted and revealed the Conservative parties had a lead of between 13 and 16%. As you can see by the screenshots on the screen, it's been moving up and down depending on who's been polling and when they were done. The survey revealed the Liberal Democrats further behind at 14%, with Nigel Farage's Brexit Party at 12%. And as you can see by some of the polling numbers on the side there, each of these vary differently between each poll, so like I said at the beginning, need to be taken with a heavy pinch of salt. In most cases, polls should be taken with all the salt in the Dead Sea, but the poll numbers in the EU elections were correct, or near enough correct, since the Brexit Party stomped home as the polls suggested. Professor John Curtis claimed in the Sunday Telegraph that Mr Johnson is behind the vote share achieved by Theresa May at the 2017 election. As campaigning has now begun, Mr Johnson will take on Mr Corbyn in the first head-to-head debate later this month. The latest survey of 1,150 voters came after the Prime Minister rejected an offer of an electoral pact with Mr Farage. The Prime Minister warned a vote for the Brexit Party risked Mr Corbyn moving into number 10. Mr Farage has pledged to field candidates for the Brexit Party across England, Scotland and Wales if no agreement is formed by November 14th. The UK will go to the polls on December 12th, spurred on by the ongoing Brexit crisis. The Orb poll indicated 15% of those who voted Remain in the referendum will support the Conservatives, because 15% of Remainers at least are democratic and want to support Brexit if it is Brexit in name only with the Boris Johnson deal. The survey showed Labour would receive 45% of the Remainer vote and the Liberal Democrats came out at 25%. Because, like I've said before, the Liberal Democrats are undemocratic and it's not going to be a majority of the country that will support that. We see on Question Time the other day a young Lib Dem supporter calling out the Lib Dems for being undemocratic and how he can't vote for them. There was a significant difference in Conservative support between genders, because that matters why. Men were more likely to back Mr Johnson at 38%, whereas the female voters totalled out at 33%. So, not that much difference between the two, really. Johnny Held from Orb International said Boris Johnson has a lead over Jeremy Corbyn, but he will need to increase this over the next 6 weeks if he wants a comfortable majority in the Commons. Look out also for those who voted Remain in 2016. At the moment, they are 2-1 voting Labour over the Lib Dems. Because yes, while Labour's undemocratic view on a second referendum is undemocratic, it's certainly more democratic than the Lib Dems' current view, which is to just revoke it outright. So, of course, more people are going to support Labour on that basis, also factoring in Labour are a bigger party and Joe Swinson's an idiot. He added, Joe Swinson will need to attract these voters if the party is to mirror gains made in the Euro elections. As we know from 2017, when one of the main stories of the campaign was Labour's surge halfway through, lots will change between now and December 12th. Yes, of course it will. That doesn't mean necessarily that Labour will win. The polling showed the Brexit Party's strongest age demographic as among 55 to 64-year-olds. Within this group, 17% indicated they would support the party. Among 25 to 34-year-olds, 44% said they would vote for Labour. This was much higher compared to the 18% who said they would vote Conservative. But I must say, these polls are a complete waste of time at the end of the day. Where does it say it? They surveyed 1,150 voters, which, I'm sorry, is not enough to really gain a basis of this country's views on the election and who they're going to vote for. At the end of the day, how many of my viewers did they poll? Because when you take a look at the polls on my community page now that I put up the other day about who people are voting for, nearly 70% of people want to vote for the Brexit party. 29% will vote for the Conservatives, and something like 3% would have voted for UKIP or other parties. And there was like 1% for Labour, I'm sure it was. But either way, the Brexit party was leading massively. Now, I know a lot of my supporters are going to be no-deal Brexit supporters, so they will favour the Brexit party at the moment since Boris Johnson wants to go through on his deal. But my community page poll will not be an accurate reflection of the country, obviously. 14 or 15,000 votes, I'm sure it had the last time I looked at it. So more than what these guys get, but at the end of the day, it's still going to be mostly Brexit supporters, or all Brexit supporters, but of varying different political affiliations. At the end of the day, a poll would only be realistically close to being true if you polled something like millions of people, in my opinion. I'm not sure how else you could do it. But you see, with stories like this, these things are going to come regularly at the end of the day because these polls are going to change every day or every couple of days, depending on who they ask at that time. I'm not sure, they might even ask the same people every week or something. I really don't know. Maybe we need to find out whether they do ask the same people or whether they ask different people each time. Who knows? Anyway, I'm going to end the video there, guys. It was just a quick one to bring you this. I'm not sure that we really need to worry about Jeremy Corbyn at the moment. It's always possible that that could change, but these polls are coming out daily and there's loads of different places doing them and they all vary greatly by the looks of it. 5 or 6% in some cases. So, pinch of salt, guys, or all the salt in the Dead Sea, whichever one you want. But I want to thank the channel's PayPal, Patreon and Subscribe-Star members for supporting the channel, along with everyone who watches my videos. Remember to let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below. Leave a like, subscribe with the notification bell and share this video as it helps the channel a lot. And I will see you all in the next one.
This Parliament is a dead Parliament. It should no longer sit. It has no moral right to sit on these green benches. They don't like the truth. Twice they have been asked to let the electorate decide upon whether they should continue to sit in their seats while they block 17.4 million people's votes. This Parliament is a disgrace. But they're too cowardly to give it a go. But the time is coming. The time is coming, Mr. Speaker, when even these turkeys won't be able to prevent Christmas.
There is a pattern consistent throughout history of oppressed people turning on the oppressors, slaves against their owners, the peasantry against the feudal barons, colonies, Mr. Verhofstadt, against their empires, and that is why Britain is leaving. And it doesn't matter which language you use, we are going and we are glad to be going. We're off.